Welcome back to this special edition of Newsmax Prime. Now, more of Donald Trump's speech to the NRA today. Of course, he emphasized the Second Amendment, but he also talked about the military, Supreme Court nominations, and, of course, Hillary.
The Second Amendment is under a threat like never before. Crooked Hillary Clinton is the most anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment candidate ever to run for office, and as I said before, she wants to abolish the Second Amendment. She wants to take your guns away. She wants to abolish. Just remember that. The NRA and the late hero, and he was a great guy, Charlton Heston, who many of you knew. I met him a few times. He was an incredible guy. Did battle with the Clintons to protect our Second Amendment. The NRA has led the fight time and time again to protect our fundamental freedoms. This is an amazing group. I'll tell you, Chris and Wayne and all of the people, and I've gotten to know a lot of these are incredible people, and they really believe. This isn't like a job. They really, really believe. And we're all lucky to have people like that, I will tell you. Really lucky. Of course, if they didn't endorse me, maybe I wouldn't say that. I would. Hillary Clinton wants to reverse the Supreme Court decision, D.C. versus Heller, upholding the right to keep and bear arms. Hillary said the Supreme Court is wrong on the Second Amendment. That's bad. That's like what she said about the miners. We're going to put the miners and the mines out of business. Then she goes, right? Then she goes to, oh, boy, I'll tell you, West Virginia, how were they? I hate to say I won Kentucky, but I won West Virginia by even more. But of course she made that statement after I had already won Kentucky. We're going to win them all. We're going to win them all. We're going to win them all. If Hillary gets to appoint her judges, and this is really important. Look, defense is number one. We have to protect our country. Defense, economy is all important. Everything's important. But without defense, we don't have a country. And our military, as you know, it's being decapitated. What they're doing to our military is incredible. I saw over the weekend a documentary on our great airmen. And these are people that are flying our jets, and they're running out of parts for our fighter jets. And these are fighter pilots. These are incredible men. And they're going to junkyards, plane graveyards, they call them, where the planes are. They're graveyards where the old planes. And they're taking parts off. They're cannibalizing the planes. They're taking parts off the planes, and they're putting them onto the jets. And I'm saying, is this the United States? Why don't we have new equipment? And a man got up, great guy, looked as good or better than Tom Cruise, and you know what I'm talking about because that was a great movie. And he said, you know what? I've been in this for 20 years, and it used to be so incredible. And now it's like a different world. The equipment, the way it's maintained, everything. It's like a different world. And I just have to say, just to interrupt what I'm going to be talking about, I have to say, we're going to make our military bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and nobody is going to push us around. Nobody. Thank you. And by the way, as part of that, we are going to take care of our great veterans, and I have to tell you, the proper way. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you. If Hillary gets to appoint her judges, you know, one of the biggest and most important reasons to win this time, it's very unusual. Sometimes you get no judges to appoint. Sometimes you go for years and there's no judges. Probably there'll be a minimum. You have Scalia, who was one of the greats. Well, his position's up. Great. He was great. But you have Scalia, so you have one before you even start, assuming, and I'm sure that Mitch and the guys are going to be able to hold out. I have no doubt about it, because we don't want anybody taking that slot. But you have Scalia, and you'll probably have 3. It could be 4. And it could even be 5 judges. So I think in terms of president, and we're talking about a 4-year period. And of course, we intend to be there for 8 years. But we'll make it so good in 4, you'll probably say you don't need to do it any longer, Mr. President. But But I can't stress in any stronger fashion, whoever the next president is going to appoint from 3 to 5 judges. And if it's Hillary or whoever, assuming she's allowed to run, because you know what she did with her emails is so criminal, is so dishonest, is so shocking that she shouldn't be allowed to run, but it looks like they're going to let her run. And that's okay with me, because really, I do want to run against her. I have to be honest with you. So if she gets to appoint her judges, she will, as part of it, abolish the Second Amendment. And I have to say, that would be, in my opinion, that's what she's going to go for. And it's a little like she did with the coal miners. She said about, she's going to put the coal miners, she's going to put the mines out of business. Then she went to West Virginia and she said, oh, well, I tried to retract. She tried to retract. It didn't work out too well for her. She got really beaten badly. Hillary wants to disarm vulnerable Americans in high crime neighborhoods. Whether it's a young single mom in Florida or a grandmother in Ohio, Hillary wants them to be defenseless, wants to take away any chance they have of survival. And by the way, you have men and you have women sitting in an apartment, and outside is tremendous crime of all kinds, and they need to be protected. And you know the only way they're going to be able to protect themselves. And if you take that gun away from them, it's going to be a very unfair situation. And that's why we're going to call her Heartless Hillary. We can do without that. Somehow I like crooked Hillary better. I put forth, and you probably saw it a few days ago, I put forth a list of judges who will protect and defend all of our freedoms, including the Second Amendment. The judges will follow the Constitution, and these were all highly vetted. The Federalist Society, Heritage, some great references from Jeff Sessions, a fantastic man, from Mitch, and from a whole group of people. And we put down 11. I'll be adding some additional names over a period of the next month or so, sometime prior to the convention. Hope you can all go to the convention. Hope you can come. And we're going to be putting some additional names in. I think you'll be very happy with them. But it's been reviewed incredibly well. People love these people. And I thought I'd do that because I really think it brings the party together. It really is going to, the effect it's had is incredible, because they weren't sure, will Trump appoint this one, that one? How will the judges be? Such an important thing. So I put together the list with some incredibly important organizations and highly respected, and everybody's really happy. You've seen we've gotten A+ reviews on that. Now, I'd like to call for Hillary Clinton to put together a list also, okay? Let her put together a list, because I'd like to see what that list consists of. And you will see it's day and night, okay? Day and night. And it will not be good for the people in this room. And it won't be good, by the way, for the people of our country, most importantly. So Americans use guns to defend themselves against violent crime more than 1 million times a year, okay? More than 1 million times a year. And they want to take them away. Heartless hypocrites like the Clintons want to take this, and they want to get rid of guns, and yet they have bodyguards that have guns. So I think that in addition to calling for them to name judges, we'll also call them and let their bodyguards immediately disarm, okay? No, they should immediately disarm. And let's see how good they do. Let's see how they feel walking around without their guns on their bodyguards. In the meantime, nobody else can have the guns, right? This doesn't have to do with guns per se, but maybe it has to do with a lot of other things. We're going to build the wall. It's going to be a great wall. We're going to have borders again. People are going to come into the country, but they're coming into the country legally, folks. They're coming in legally. We're going to keep our borders open. And I'll tell you, but they're going to be open when people come in legally. Now, Hillary wants to just keep them open. Anybody can come across, and that's what's been happening. And the crime is violent and a lot. And lots of other things are happening with the drugs pouring across. So she's putting the most vulnerable Americans in jeopardy, and this is a risk that we can no longer afford. We've had enough. I think we've had enough. Wouldn't you say we've had, like... In trying to overturn the Second Amendment, Hillary Clinton is telling everyone, and every woman living in a dangerous community, that she doesn't have the right to defend herself. So you have a woman living in a community, a rough community, a bad community, sorry, you can't defend yourself. That is so unfair, and that is so egregious. And I'll tell you what, my poll numbers with women are starting to go up. I never thought of it. This should really lift them up, right? Starting to go up. I will say, my poll numbers with men are through the roof. But I like women more than men. Come on, women, let's go. Come on.
Thus far, Donald Trump has done most of the talking, but you're going to get a chance to talk too. Join us in the conversation at 1-877-Newsmax. We'll also call in our political panel as this special edition of our program continues.